Hi, I'm Georgia. Those of you familiar with the Alphalore will know this guy, the essence of wrath, also known as Omega. Those of you that know me will know that I have an intense hatred for Omega. But since the finale, I've spent some time to reflect, and I've got to admit, I think I'm starting to like Omega. Why, you may ask? To explain, I'll have to walk you through Omega's story. In his first moments, Omega was granted Alpha's memories. This allowed him to see Alpha as the devil he truly was. Instead of continuing the cycle of deceit, Omega shared the truth with his brothers, setting them on the path to freedom. He gave them time to process the information, but when they were ready, he approached them, telling them that he could reverse any of Alpha's actions, allowing him to free them. First, Billy. Omega knew of Billy's ability to sense emotions from Alpha's memories, so he told Billy to read his soul and search for deceit. Billy couldn't find any, as Omega was never lying to him, unlike Alpha. This allowed him to free Billy. Second, the host of the expedition, or Inc. for short. Someone of Inc's status didn't deserve to be shackled their whole life, and Omega reminded him of this. After some deliberation, Inc. eventually agreed to let Omega free him. After liberating Inc., Omega saw Alpha, Cain, Dave, and Travis together, and decided to let them see what he'd accomplished. This act angered Travis, who accused Omega of killing his boss. In retaliation, Omega activated Travis's poison and absorbed his soul. The only essence left to absorb was Cain. However, not only was his soul too strong to absorb, but Cain let Alpha manipulate him again. That's what left Omega no choice but to sacrifice a significant portion of his life force to create the buffer. This act not only prepared himself for absorbing Cain's soul at a later date, but he was also able to weaken Alpha by restricting the flow of his life force to Cain. So far, Omega has revealed the truth to his brothers, absorbed 2 of their souls, implemented a buffer to weaken Cain, and he was starving Alpha of his life force using Billy and Inc's souls. True, Travis was collateral damage, but he was going to respawn at the end of Omega's plan anyway. It all seemed too good to be true. That's because it was. Cain lost 5 weapons in A+, but in S rank, he lost 4. One weapon may not seem like such a big difference, but when you consider that 3 of the weapons Cain lost in A+, were in one rank-up battle, things are looking dire for Omega. He had no choice but to sacrifice more of his life force to absorb Alpha's faster. When Cain reached his last rank-up battle, Omega had almost absorbed all of Alpha's life force. This forced Alpha to merge his soul with Cain's, bypassing Omega's buffer. Enraged, Omega summoned Cain to him, so he could berate Alpha for possessing him. When Alpha and Cain had revealed that their souls were merged, and Cain still had control, Omega just brushed this off, simply telling them that they had until sundown to finish the Nuzlocke. Alpha knew something was up when Omega didn't try to reverse the merging, so he took a look at Omega's soul and saw it was fractured, but Billy and Inc's souls were completely unharmed. In response to the confusion, Omega told him that this was because he wouldn't hurt his brothers at the slightest inconvenience. He swore to protect them, and he was going to finish what he started no matter what. Alpha and Cain tried to convince Omega that Billy and Inc never wanted this, but Omega knew better. After all, he could feel every bit of pain they were going through, and he was going to use it to destroy Alpha and Cain. He still wanted to free Cain, but Omega had accepted that Cain's delusion was too thick to cut through. He told them to enter their rank-up battle and show him if their delusion really could take them far. Unfortunately, it did. Nuzlocke had been completed, the buffer was destroyed, and Omega was in a weaker state than ever before. However, even in what he thought were his final moments, he still tried to liberate Cain. First by explaining that Alpha was the real monster, then by striking his weapon at Cain to absorb his soul. Unfortunately, Cain struck faster and managed to destroy Omega. The only reason Omega still lives to this day is because Alpha revived him, realizing the consequences of his actions because of him. See, in every moment Omega cared for his brothers, even Cain, stating on multiple occasions that he wanted to free him too. He wouldn't have gone to the point of putting his own life on the line without noble intentions. I'm not going to force anyone watching this to like Omega, but at least now you understand my reasoning,